Welcome to our Brothers in Conversation podcast, powered by Jesse and Shondell. Shondell, you are from?
Bed-Stuy, do-or-die, Brooklyn. That little town.
That's a little town. That's nothing like Hawthorne, Nevada. Population 5,000 cats and dogs. Welcome to our Conversations podcast, powered by Jesse and Shondell.
Absolutely.
And this is May 16th, 2019, episode 4. And this is vintage, what we're doing today. This is a vintage piece. Some of you, a lot of you may have heard of this piece before, but our title today is Acres and Diamonds in Your Own Backyard.
Yes.
Acres and Diamonds in Your Own Backyard.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about, before we get into our dialogue, which is going to be powerful, I want to just kind of tell the brief story about where it comes from in case folks don't know the story. Yeah. So the Acres of Diamonds in Your Own Backyard, I actually heard it from Earl Nightingale.
Okay.
And Earl Nightingale, he tells the story of Russell Herman Conwell. Yeah, it was Conwell. Mm-hmm. And Conwell was a lawyer. He was a newspaper editor. He was a clergyman back in the day. And Conwell, he gave 6,000 lectures on this Acres of Diamond. Yeah. And that's a lot of lectures.
That's a lot.
And he raised $7 million to start a university because there were these kids who were interested in learning from him.
Right.
So he decided he wanted to start a university, but where's the money going to come from? He had this concept, this one story called the Acres of Diamonds in Your Own Backyard. And he told that in 6,000 lectures, earned $7 million to start this university.
Cool. That's good stuff.
Yeah, so that's where that came from. And the story is about an account of an African farmer who heard the tales of other settlers that they made millions discovering diamonds in this diamond mines.
Yeah.
And he lived on this farm, and he was envious of this, and he wanted that as well. So he scurried off. He sold his farm. He scurried off all over the whole continent of Africa, which is huge.
Yeah.
Searching for diamonds.
And what people don't realize is Africa is a huge place for diamonds, right?
Right.
Don't they have the largest diamond mines?
Correct.
In the world? Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
That is correct.
I remember hearing that one time.
Exactly. It's true. That's spot on. And so he wanted to go on this journey to find his riches.
Right.
And he wanted to search for diamonds so that he could make millions.
Right.
And he was exhausted, and he never really found those diamonds. He was exhausted in the process, and he was broke.
Yeah.
And he was losing his mind, so he threw himself in the river and drowned.
Yeah.
And after the drowning, the person that he sold his mine to discovered this funny-looking rock that he wasn't sure what it was. It was kind of archaic. It was interesting, but he couldn't tell what it was.
Right.
And under further discovery, he discovered on the farm that the guy sold for almost nothing that it was a diamond.
Yeah.
So he looked further for these, and as it turns out, they were populated all over the place. But it was hard to tell that they were diamond because they were rough. They were in a rough stage.
Yeah.
They had been mined or anything like that.
Yeah.
That became, to your point, the largest diamond mine in the world. Was on the farm that the guy sold.
Wow.
He actually didn't even realize that he had acres of diamonds
already
in his own backyard.
Wow.
But he was looking for it everywhere else.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I love the story.
Yeah. So it says this. It says that, here's a note I took. It says, if that farmer had taken the time to study and prepare himself and learn what diamonds look like in their rough state and first explored the land that he owned, he would have never had to leave his land.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So the profound thing about the story is that each of us are standing in the middle of our own acres of diamonds in our own backyard.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times we don't take that time to explore and engage to figure that out.
Yes.
So you got the concept. Let's talk about that concept. Let's make that concept real.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I'm gonna let you finish. I got some thoughts on that.
Okay. So, but really, I'm ready to toss the ball back and forth. Sure. What are your thoughts on that? On the whole Acres of Diamonds concept in your own backyard?
When I read it the other day, I thought about my journey here. Right. I'm 3,000 miles away from home.
Okay.
I thought, and I wanted to leave Las Vegas. I said, you know what? I've been here. I've done my time with the military. I've done some great, cool things, but it's time for me to go back east. Actually, I was going south to Atlanta, thinking I was going to run my aunt's mortgage company.
Okay.
Okay. This was in 2002, 2000. Yeah, somewhere around there. Well, I got out of the military. Back in 97. I thought that. Somebody called me and said, I want to recruit you and take you in the station casinos.
Okay.
I said, I don't know anything about a casino. I'm not parking cars, slinging drinks.
Sure.
Serving, whatever. Sure. I don't know what. I had my naive perception.
Thought that was about all it was about.
That was what it was all about.
Sure.
So, to break it down a little bit is I didn't know that I had diamonds in my own backyard.
Sure.
Right? I didn't know that going to station casinos would change my life forever.
Right.
Because one, I discovered, right, through mentorship, through friendships and things, there was a whole back of the house. There was a whole executive chain.
And through mentorships and friendships are also part of the acres of diamonds in your own backyard, because you're one handshake away from a different lifestyle.
Exactly.
And that can go in either direction, by the way.
Yes.
So you be mindful of those handshakes, but those friendships and those mentorships are part of the acres of diamonds that a lot of people don't realize. Mm-hmm. And it's not to have them to abuse them.
Right.
I was a quick sidebar. I was a Bellagio executive. I was walking through and I was complaining about a friendship situation, about a friendship using me or whatever.
Right.
And I'll never forget, his name is Alak Lem, Asian, big, tall Asian marketing executive. He stood up and he says, in my country and in my culture, we don't see it the way you do.
Right.
He says, always use a friend, never abuse a friend.
Right.
And I thought about that.
That's great.
Always use a friend, never abuse a friend.
That is it.
It's good for you to use those friendships.
Right. Yeah.
For your gain, for the gain of others, and for how they can gain from you as well.
And to build those networks.
Yeah, if you're not using them, what's the point?
Right. Yeah, what is
we do need to use our friendships.
Yeah.
But in America, when I don't like anybody using me.
Right.
It's a bad connotation.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is we need to use our network or our, I call it relationship marketing, same thing, network, relationship marketing, our friendships, our relationships, our family. Use them for the greater good.
Yeah.
Just don't abuse them.
No, don't abuse them. And I love this story, Jess. When you sent it to me, a lot of things went through my mind. Even the discussion we were having before we came on air, talking about how people look for jobs or they say they don't have transportation, things like that.
Right. So tell a little bit about that. That's a good sidebar. That was good. Yeah. But it ties right back into
this. It ties right back into even, I think people, again, my daughter says this, they see me holding a flag on top of the mountain of some new marketing.
Okay.
But they didn't see the climb.
Right.
They did not see the calluses and
that's right.
And the fight and the battle and slipping off the rock and pulling back
that's
up.
Right.
They didn't see that journey.
Right.
So I got out of the military. I got remarried. My wife had 4 kids. I was a single father with 4 kids.
Okay.
I need this job.
So you were the Brady Bunch on steroids.
Yes, Brady Bunch.
Because you weren't 6, you were 8.
That's right. We were 8. No Alice. Right. We didn't have a living maid. Right. So we were really. Arlene and I were the living maids. So
you were the brown Brady Bunch with no Alice.
With no Alice.
On steroids. You had 2 additional.
Yeah, we had more. Yeah,
that's funny.
And then later on more moving in. But I remember I was driving my car up Lake Mead on my way to Texas Station. Okay. And it broke down. Oh. It overheated. You know how it is here.
Sure.
Right? It overheated. I had to move my car out the street. Yeah. Still get to Texas because you're in your first 90 days. Right. Still had to get there. Right. After that, just getting out of the military, that transition is extremely tough already financially.
For sure.
So I had to ride the bus for 3 months. Yeah. 3 months. Yeah. I'm riding the bus, and this is when my pastor talked about walking in grace last Saturday. I was like, wow, you know what? He said God will put you in places that you will never think of, all that. But remember, my perception of the casino industry was totally different.
Yes, until you got into it.
Until I got into it.
Okay.
So I get to Texas Station. I'm there just back then the RTC schedule was not as great as it is today.
Yeah, because we didn't put the focus there.
Yeah, it wasn't there, the public transportation. So I got to work 2 hours early, hour 45 minutes early every day.
So that you wouldn't be late.
So I wouldn't be late, because if I took the other bus, I'd be late, which meant I won't have that job.
No.
Right? So I went to, I sit in what they call the EDR. You remember the employee dining rooms?
Yeah.
I would read, get caught up on what stations was about, what is my job, and all those things. The president of the general manager, who was also once upon a time president of the Hard Rock, he said, hey, he kept going through and he kept seeing me reading and reading. He said, what are you reading? I said, I'm reading about the company and this is. I didn't know he was the president. Even though I read all this stuff, it wasn't not much internet back then.
Right? No.
So I'm just reading, and he says, well, you studying the company? I said, yeah, this is my first 90 days. So I'm getting caught up and not knowing who this guy is, tall, skinny guy, young guy.
Right.
So I'm thinking, because you're thinking casino executive, old dude.
Yeah, you're going to think he's in his 50s, 60s.
Yeah, 50s, 60s. He's like 30-something years old. So I'm talking to him, and he's giving me he's talking to me, and we're having this dialogue. And come later, I find out he was the president and general manager. Fast forward, without even knowing, I got promoted to director of marketing within 2.5 years. So I'm sitting with him.
Which is aggressive.
Yeah.
Today, but extremely aggressive back in the day.
Yeah. And it was about everything you're talking about.
People like you did not get promoted to those levels back in the day.
Right. Not at all, right? And having that conversation. So when I got into the executive offices and he sat down with me, he says, you came in every day, 2 hours early just to learn about the company. And I said, well, actually, it was because I had to ride the bus. I mean, I love to give that credit, but he said, I'm glad you're telling me the story now, because I'm thinking you're just a dedicated dude. So my point is that sometimes things are, happening and you don't realize they're happening. You're walking in grace, and your diamonds are right there, and your opportunities are right there in your own backyard, but you don't know that.
Well, yeah. Well, because riding the bus seemed like not a benefit. It seemed like a detriment, because you don't have your own wheels. You can't come and go as you please. You have to go with a schedule.
Right.
But really, it was actually a jewel.
Yeah.
Because it did get you to work early. Now, you could have gotten to the zone and not gone into the office. You could have done other things in that area. You chose to, since you were there early, do what you did. So really, you really do get the credit, even though your conditions and circumstances compelled you to get there in that zone, and it put you at about 1:45, 2 hours ahead of time. You could have done other things than what you did.
Yeah.
So I still say you get the credit for that, and that would look like an impediment for you was actually something that he saw that compelled him to want to advance you, because he could see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, Shondell, when we have difficulties or challenges or setbacks or losses, a lot of people tend to stay stuck in those losses.
Right.
And so you and I have said it before, but my theory is the same as yours. Whenever we lose in life, don't lose the lesson.
Yes.
We look for that lesson. What is to be learned here? What can I capture? What can I keep? What can I hold on to?
Yes, sir.
We keep the lesson and we throw everything else away.
Right.
So those losses or those tragedies, can be very, very difficult, because sometimes it could be death.
Yeah.
It could be loss of a relationship. It could be loss of a job. It could be many things people lose. We don't typically find the joy there.
Right.
We usually find misery there, and usually we chatter about it. And unless we're awakened by something like this, so. It is oftentimes, even in those difficult times, that can still be riches and diamonds in there. It's up to you to open up to that.
Right. And and what's interesting is that set me on a trajectory where that experience kept me going, and then kept me in Las Vegas.
Right. Yes.
It kept me in Las Vegas.
It did, which means, to your point, kept you in your own backyard. and you going somewhere else was not going to make your situation any better.
Right.
It was just going to be different.
It was going to be different.
Different doesn't always mean better. It could be or it may not be.
Right.
It could have been the other way.
Yeah, because God set me up good. I mean, and the thing is that, starting my own business, growing that business through the recession, through my father's death,
right,
through many trials and tribulations,
right,
and transitions,
right.
It basically took me to go, and I go back to that, riding the bus and reminding me that challenge, that adversity became my advantage.
The adversity became your advantage.
Yeah.
See, that's huge because a lot of people, when they're in a situation of adversity or challenge, whether it's disrespect or unfairness or prejudice, they cave into that.
Yeah.
See, you rose from it.
Yeah.
You and I are very similar in that. I can tell you, there was a time in my life. This is really, it's personal, but it happened.
Yeah.
You're talking about adversity. There was a time in my life when a circumstance happened to me I was 21 years old, and it made me that circumstance that matter was so emotionally devastating. It had me questioning and asking myself, do I wish that I was another color so that I didn't have to endure things of this weight and this nature?
Hey, man, thank you for that transparency. That's good stuff. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
That literally happened.
Yeah.
And when it happened, I went into the bathroom of my small apartment. I closed the door, and I was about 2 to 3 feet from the mirror.
Yep.
And I asked myself this question. Do I wish that I was another color? Do I wish that I were white so that I wouldn't have to deal with this?
Right, right.
That was adversity. This was a real come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
I didn't have counseling. They didn't have coaching. I'm 21. I could barely afford my apartment.
Right.
And I'm talking out loud so I can hear myself, and I'm looking at that face in the mirror.
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, where do you come from?
Right.
Now, people look at me and all this dark skin. They only see black.
Right, right.
But really, there's a compilation of things they cannot see. If they saw some other brothers or sisters, they might guess that maybe something else going on.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the same complexion.
Right, right.
But we are African, Indian, and French.
Okay.
You can't see that in me.
Right.
But it's there in our ancestry.
Yeah, I can see a little French, the head shape.
Right. That was good. The folks listening can't hear it or see. They can hear it, but they can't see it. If you're on Facebook, you can see the head shape, but you can't. But yeah, so you can see it, right? So you got it. Thanks for the light moment. Shonda had to lighten us up there for a moment, so that's really good. The brother was getting heavy. So, but the majority of what they can see is from the African descent.
Exactly.
So then I said to myself, okay, so if that's what most people can see, and that is the largest dominant part of me, where do we come from? When I thought about the whole slave trade, where the white man from America went over and the black man in Africa sold the best. They picked the best of the best. The white man from America did not want to buy them unless they were the best of the best.
Right.
They bought the best of the best.
Absolutely.
And I thought, okay, now wait a minute.
Yeah.
If they brought over the best of the best, and most of them perished in the seas coming over because of the terrible conditions that they were brought over in, they were throwing them over by the dozens.
Oh, yeah.
Because they weren't making it.
Yeah, yeah.
They were getting sick down there.
Yeah, and guess what? And I don't mean to interrupt you, but listen, guys, if you want to get this real, go to Washington, D.C.
And see some. Okay, fair enough.
Oh my God.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Blow what you're talking about. Oh my God.
You can, because you get to see the conditions.
My
not
goodness.
it's really chilling. It's really chilling.
Yeah, oh man, it's just emotional.
And in my mind, I'm in the Washington D.C. place because I'm asking myself, where do I come from?
Yes, that's awesome.
Many people, Shondell, get hung up in wanting to have all the answers. I don't put my focus on wanting to have all the answers. I put my focus on, am I asking the right questions?
Right.
Because if you're not asking the right questions, who care about the answers?
Yeah, you won't get the answer anyway.
It's not going to be one that can work or apply.
Right.
So then I said to myself, okay, so that means I come from the best of the best.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so what do I have to be embarrassed or ashamed of? If I come from the best of the best,
right,
what do I have to be ashamed of?
Why?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
So then I said, there's something I must do to remember this and to honor this and to really live beyond this.
Wow.
I said, here's what's going to happen. And I made this commitment. I still live by this commitment. I said, I am going to figure out how to learn and condition myself to communicate so effectively that you get beyond the blackness.
Right.
That's not to be disrespectful for being a person of color.
Right.
What I'm saying is, I'm not just black.
Right.
I'm other things as well.
Sure.
But if I can't get you to see those other things because you're clouded by all this darkness, it'll never happen.
Yeah.
So my goal is to transcend the color.
Yes.
Honor the color, be respectful of it, honor where I come from, be respectful of my background, my history, but be able to transcend it, and that is not all that I am.
Right. Right.
So that's my goal, is to, when I engage and connect with people, is to do it in a fashion that we rise above things that's a low level of existence, living just where you come from specifically and only.
You know what's great about what you're saying is my father, when he served in Vietnam, there's a great picture of my dad. It's on my profile on my page if anybody wants to look at it on Facebook. My father is sitting down as a United States Air Force airman.
Okay.
Behind him is a picture of him as a black man.
Okay.
Looking at Bobby Newsom, the airman.
Wow.
In the Air Force.
Wow.
And he and a lot of his friends, one of his friends I met here in Nevada, has the same photo. They all were they were saying, who am I?
Right.
As a black man.
Right.
To fight for the freedoms and fight another country
that
is somewhat unjust. When my country that I'm serving has been unjust to me.
Correct.
Right? So
how do I do that?
How do I do that? I'm conflicted and I'm fighting, but then I go back home and I got the same thing happening to me.
That I'm fighting for.
Yes.
Right.
It's very interesting. So that's why I live my life the way that I do. It's similar. It's very similar. What I need people to understand is that, because some people say to me, "Are you not trying to be black?" And I said, "Absolutely. I can't run away from this if I wanted to."
I never put it that way, but I say the same. I don't say that. I might have to borrow that one. I say, if you put me on top of the Union Plaza, get 10 miles away and ask, "Is that a person that's black?" Yeah, you're gonna know. It's non-negotiable.
Exactly who it is. Right?
I say yes.
What I tell people is, it's interesting how we want diversity, but we won't accept adversity in our own race.
It's true.
It's Shondell is different. Shondell has been groomed to be an entrepreneur. How many of us are entrepreneurs in the United States? How many of us are entrepreneurs, and I'm saying black people? Right. How many of us?
But that doesn't make you not black because you're an entrepreneur.
Exactly. And that it just defines you a little bit more. Yes, as an entrepreneur, I think different, I act different, I am going to be different, I'll view things from a different lens.
And what's wrong with that?
And even furthermore, I am a black entrepreneur and an employer. You know where that puts me? It actually really, really shrinks it, right? Because in the United States of America, about 20% of the small businesses have employees. Okay. In the black community, only 4%.
Minute. I'm surprised it's that high.
4% have employees. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that when people are saying, Shondell, well, I don't get what you're saying, I said, because you don't have an employee. Right. You don't own a business. Right. You don't understand that I feel like I'm being taxed to death. I feel like you got to understand all of the things that go on in my head. And notice that not one of them dealt with race. Right. Right. Understand that when I went to Station Casinos and that trajectory that you said, like you said, many black young people were not becoming executives in casinos. So, but here's how my GM and president said. He said, Shondell, actually the people here are not going to be offended that you're black. They're offended that you got here in 2.5 years. Right. And that you're young, right? Right. Right. They're not, he's saying, I know that, everybody's going to come and say he's a black guy. From the outside, correct. What do you call it? What do they call that when you get, the rights.
Favoritism or something like that?
Yes, you know, and you know when they say they have to have so many quotas.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but he said it's not affirmative action. He said it's not affirmative action that got you here. It's the fact that you worked your tail off to get you here. Now, what people are going to say is because he's young and he's black. And that's he
gets to fill a digit. He gets to represent.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. We got ours.
He wanted to remind me that I believe that you're going to bring things to station casinos, and in particular at that time Texas Station,
right,
that I can't get from anybody else. That's what I want.
Right.
So your diversity,
and it had nothing to do with your race or your color. It had to do with your inside.
Yes.
It had to do with what you were bringing, which is about the acres of diamond. Again, you've got it inside of you.
Yes.
You don't have to go get it out there.
Right. You don't have to go.
That all came from within.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about this thing called race or being black, and this particular, where most people could see that as a deficit. You decided to rise because of it, not let it sink you.
Yeah.
Just like the circumstances I talked about, I decided to rise because of the injustices and the uncomfortableness and the pettiness of it all. I can only change the world one person at a time as I got to connect with people.
And it's from a viewpoint. Here's the thing I told the guy on PBS. He asked the question, he said, Shondell, why do you believe that minorities, and in particular African-American businesses, rose during the Great Recession, right? I said because adversity is not new to them.
Right.
Right, just what you just said.
That's right.
That's adversity.
That's right.
People believe adversity is somebody attacking you.
Right.
But your own self-doubt, your own mindset
is a bigger force than anything else. You're absolutely.
It's tough.
And with that point, so let's just say this. Let's open it up. Let's go global. We're talking about it from a race perspective or a black perspective, but that's not the only perspective.
Right.
I have a thought that I learned that I say that everyone is too something for someone else.
Right.
Too dark, too light, too tall, too small, too smart, not smart enough.
Right.
Too thin. Too heavy. Too intelligent. If you can imagine that.
Oh yeah.
Everyone is too something for someone. Too independent. Too dependent.
Right, too dependent, right.
We do not own the right of burdenship because we are people of color.
Exactly.
I think everyone in the world will have an opportunity to have that, and that is really something that they have to reconcile within.
Yeah.
Don't wait for the world out here to fix it.
Right, and I tell you what,
I couldn't wait for the world outside to fix my challenges and the horrible feelings. I had to go to work and fix that on the inside.
And I tell you why my dad dealt with it. My dad said, Here's what people need to understand. Everybody in the world has different problems and unique problems.
Yes.
The only difference with African Americans in this country is that we are a smaller part of the population.
Right.
So everything we do is amplified.
Sure.
So there are less black men. So when you go compared to everybody else, it's amplified. And the reason that is, Jess, is because what you talked about in the slave trade. All of those men were dying when the ships coming over, or they were removed from their families when they got here.
Correct.
So there is a definite disparity, but disparity does not mean despair.
No.
Disparity does not mean despair. Disparity means that you have to work twice as hard.
Correct.
To get to where you need to go. What I think we lost was working twice as hard
and feeling having a thing about it, or it's not fair, or it's wrong, or we shouldn't.
It's not going to be fair.
No,
we are 400 years behind.
If it was fair, we wouldn't learn anything.
Exactly, but that is the strength.
Yes,
is the fact that it's not fair.
Right.
But look at us.
Right.
And we're not the only one.
No, not at all.
It's not fair.
No.
But look at Obama.
Right.
It's not fair. But look at Booker T. Washington.
Look at Sidney Poitier. They told him to when he first came on the scene, they said, you'll never make it.
Right.
You need to don't quit your day job. Whether it was dishwasher, I think it was. I'm not sure. I don't recall. But they told him, you're not going to make it. Because people like you don't make it in the movie.
Exactly.
That's what he was told.
Yeah, and then my father said the same thing you did. He said, son, when I graduated high school, I was still stuttering. So people were teasing me for my stuttering. People were teasing me because they thought I wasn't smart because I stuttered.
Right.
So his stuttering took over everything else.
Right.
And he said, but then I'm a black man that stutters.
Right.
So that just kept adding.
Sure.
But guess what this man did?
What did he do?
He raised 7 kids.
Yeah.
In Bedford-Stuyvesant. Bed-Stuy, do or die.
Right.
Right?
Right.
5 boys and 2 girls. Bought a brownstone we still own.
Wow.
The guy's amazing.
Wow.
Right? He passed away 10 years ago, but my father was amazing through all that adversity. And it always, that's why everywhere I go.
Because he used that to strengthen him, not to destroy him.
Yes.
And that's the acres of diamonds in your own backyard. That diversity, that struggle, that strife, that challenge, that may be where some of your diamonds are.
Yes.
I likely would not be the communicator today that I am today if it were not for the challenges that I spoke of that made me question.
Yeah.
Made me question, do I want to be something else?
Right.
No.
Right.
I am, and so that was there was diamonds there.
Yeah.
But it was rough. I didn't know it was a diamond at the time. It was very, very heavy. It was very rough. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't clean. But I can tell you what, it's really shiny today.
Yeah.
Because the power of your ability to communicate is extremely powerful. Will affect the quality of the change in your pocket.
It eclipses everything.
Absolutely.
Everything.
It does.
Yeah.
And it crosses over everything. When you can communicate on a universal level with a broad range of people, now you're opening up far more opportunity. And it has nothing to do with race or color or being too something for someone else.
Just, I was blessed, man. What I thought was a curse was a true blessing. My curse was I thought in my mind, boy, here's my mom making me go to these Broadway plays as a kid. I want to play stickball so bad. I want to be out there with the other kids.
Right.
My mother was like, cultural diversity will be a blessing to you one day.
Right.
And the ability to communicate in different circles.
That's right.
Right? So you're going in a suit and tie to this play. I'm going to the Wiz. I'm going to Evita. I'm going to Your Arms Are Too Short to Box with God.
Right.
In the 1970s.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Right?
Yeah.
I am feeling like I am being cursed because my mom is an educator. I am really sitting around going, this sucks, right? Later in life, I realized that cultural diversity would become my strength, would become my blessing.
It is.
And what it allowed me to do is go even further beyond race and beyond everything else.
Allowed you to create connections.
Yes, everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So while other parents were afraid for me or for their kids to go with a white family in Vermont, my mom was like, "Oh no, you go."
Right.
Because you'll learn farm life.
Right.
Like, what do I want to learn farm life? I don't want to be those raggedy old people with overalls and dirty and dingy.
Yeah.
And come to find out that the family I went to live with in Vermont owned a huge farm. I mean, huge.
Yeah. Wasn't just a farm. It was they were doing well.
Oh, it was extreme. Oh, it was awesome. I didn't realize, they had an RV, so we did camping trips. I didn't realize that they owned 2 grocery stores, which they provided the milk and eggs, and things like that. I was just blown away. I was floored by what I thought was a poor family. I go out there and I'm like, wow, it's pretty cool to be a farmer.
Right. Right. It was a whole different perspective. But you had to live into it before because you were going by the preconceived notions of what farming and farmers were all about.
Yeah.
You were not going from an insider's perspective or a space of knowledge.
That's why I always encourage people. Same thing, like I said, with gaming and hospitality.
Right.
Get on the inside and find out what it's about. And that goes back to the point what I was telling people this morning on Facebook. I believe people are scared of the unknown.
Oh yeah, people are scared of the unknown.
Yeah.
They also live from this space. From many people live from what they don't have,
right?
Not from what they do have,
right? Yeah, they do.
Which is synonymous with what you're saying, live from the unknown.
Yeah.
When they don't have something or a deficit of something, they put the focus on what they don't have.
Right.
But what about moving for what you do have?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. And how do you learn something unless you get into it, right?
Absolutely.
So I tell them, like, I've learned so much over many years about construction jobs. And here's a real deal. And Guy Martin Harris, when he broke it down to me, it makes so much sense. Only 20 to 24% of the young people leaving will go to college, will leaving high school. what are the rest of them doing, right?
Right.
Why not a trade?
Right.
It doesn't have to be construction. Let's just say it's electrical work. Let's just say it's like me, I did graphic design or printing or something like that. It doesn't always have to be that, but
right.
What if those other people thought military, trade, something other than, because everybody's not going to go.
No.
Right?
No.
So the fear of the unknown, because I've learned that construction has many different jobs. I don't have to be in 100 degrees.
Oh no,
I can actually be in the office
jobs
doing
for sure.
Other things.
Design.
I didn't know that, Jess.
Yes.
And I could have been one of those people that designed those things, but my limited knowledge of the industry was all about, I'm not out there breaking rocks.
Right. It was only what you knew. It wasn't what was really the truth of how it was, the full spectrum of how it was.
Spectrum.
And a lot of people do that. A lot of times, and that's what they said in the Acres of Diamonds in your backyard. Mm-hmm. Do the work.
Yeah.
Do the intelligence. Mm-hmm. Do the study. Reveal. Ask the right questions. Yes. Seek the wisdom. That's exactly
really
right.
Know what wisdom is?
Say it.
Wisdom is talking to people who have already been a part of something, and they come back and tell you, let me tell you what's on the other side of that mountain.
Yes.
Right? That's wisdom.
Let me tell you how sharp you are. One of the points that I saved here says, if we would only use the wisdom, this is from the Acres of Diamond when we did some of the research on this, if we would only use the wisdom and patience to intelligently explore the work that we are now engaged, we will find that it usually contains the riches we seek, just like you just said.
Yes, sir.
Maybe financial, intangible, or both.
Yep.
How about that? Wisdom, from what you just said.
Yeah.
You got to seek it.
You got to seek it.
You got to want it.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I was going to ask you when we talked about your business last time. We're going to do a flashback here in a second, too. But I want to flashback just off the top of my head. When I was asking you about your business, one of the things that I wanted the people to learn and know, that those out there listening, whether you work for a company, you work for a corporation, or you own your own business, or you're at the ground level, or whatever, it can be challenging running successful operations.
Oh, my God, yes.
Just give us one or two of the things that have been the most challenging for you to keep, not just keep your business afloat, to run a successful business. What'd you say, 12 years?
13.
13 years now.
Yeah. So, two things. One is client satisfaction and consistency. And then the other part
that's been difficult for you.
That's difficult because your expectations of how you make them feel can be layers different than your employees. You have to get your employees to get to a point where they can feel what you feel.
That's why you call it a vision, and you strike a vision, and the vision is not just your vision; it's the vision you have for yourself, the company, all of it. And you need to get that vision funneled all the way down to the bottom, so people know the vision, so they can support the vision by that service cycle that you're talking about.
Because it's about, for us, our core value, and this comes straight from me, is caring. So it's creating a relationship of excellence.
Okay,
care. The point is that I
like that though. Sorry, I like
care.
No, I love it. You know why? People focus on customer service.
Right.
It's tired and played out.
Yeah.
You can't serve if you don't care.
Exactly. So the acronym is create a relationship of excellence, CARE.
I like it.
So
brilliant.
I've been teaching. That's how I'm helping my employees understand.
Because
we are hiring people that care.
Yes.
I can teach
because you can't teach that.
You can't teach that. I need people to care.
If they don't care, it won't matter.
And here's the funny thing. I ask all of my, when I ask my clients, I say, what do you love about Some New? I love that you care. Now I know. Now that's one answer that helps me understand that we've hit it. When they say, Shondell, I know that you care, but I'm not getting the same feel from your team.
That's a big deal. You need to go correct that.
I need to correct that.
And check this out.
Right. So that's the biggest thing. Like,
knowledge is big and powerful, right? They don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
Exactly. So that is one of my biggest challenges over the 13 years, is getting that person on the front line to be in that space where they have to know that you care. And
that right there is a big, big foundational push.
Yes.
Huge.
So it has nothing to do with understanding marketing. It has nothing to understand our products and services. You have to understand that you care. The other thing is maintaining that workforce that is, let's say, sustainable.
Sure.
And making sure that I keep people that care.
Sure.
That's tough.
That's right, because when they get really, really good, then maybe other options or opportunities open up for them, so they may flee thinking they can be better, maybe earn more money or be in a better position or whatever. So that's good. I wanted to share that with. So I appreciate this. That was a flashback. I want to flip over to another flashback.
Sure.
And this is going to be an outside flashback. These are two people that from our last podcast. Our last podcast was the number one reason small businesses fail.
Okay.
And how to avoid it.
Yep.
And so this came from, the first one I'm going to share is from Vancouver, Canada, from BC, Canada.
Okay.
He's a mortgage broker.
Okay.
And his name, and I know this, he's such a great guy. It's Cuccioni.
Oh, Cuccioni.
Armando Cuccioni.
Nice.
I'm doing my best to say that right. Cuccioni. And Armando said this. He said this. He's just a fabulous, intelligent professional with the work that he does with the mortgage broker there in the BC area. He says, I like the Kodak example. And I'll go back to the Kodak example in a second. He says, Kodak, he calls it a Kodak moment. He said, will stick in my head now with a totally different meaning. He said, it's a good reminder to get over yourself.
Right.
Plan and continuously evolve no matter how much of a powerhouse you are in your industry. Also, if you don't go through it, you won't grow through it.
Wow.
Love that line, and it's so true. That was from Armando.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So what Armando's talking about, let me read that. A real quick read on Kodak. We brought that up as one of those businesses that it was enormous to just, well, that fail. So Kodak, a technology company that dominated the photographic film market during most of the 20th century, the company blew its chance to lead the digital photography revolution as they were in denial for far too long. They were in denial. Stephen Sasson, the Kodak engineer, actually invented the first digital camera back in 1975.
Wow.
But it was filmless photography. So management's reaction was, that's cute, but don't tell anyone about it, says Sasson. The leaders of Kodak failed to see digital photography as a disruptive technology. Former Vice President of Kodak, Don Strickland, says this. We developed the world's first consumer digital camera, but we could not get approval to launch or sell it because of fear of the effects on the film market.
Right.
The management was so focused on the film's success that they missed the digital revolution after starting it. Yeah. Kodak filed for bankruptcy in 2012. The Kodak failure surprised many. Yeah. Acres of diamonds in their own backyard.
In their own backyard.
Right there with the technology was invented right there by one of their own.
Right.
So that was an acres of diamond, even though it's a flashback. And then we have one from Carolyn Vanslow. She's a postural therapist and corrective exercise specialist right here in Las Vegas. And Carolyn said this. She wrote in and said, Hi, Jesse and Shondell. I am enjoying your podcast. Here's another blooper with Kodak. She liked that. Wow. She picked up on that too. In the 80s, Bill Kittner figured out the best 35 millimeter film for cardiac, this is a tough word, catheterization. His business was in his garage. He went to Kodak at the time, who held the market in this type of film, and presented what he wanted them to make. They laughed him out of the office and threw him out. So he went to Cinegram, their competitor, and asked them to build the film, now making Cinegram building their own brand and bills. The company was VeraX. Cinegram was later a dying... Cinegram was making money on both ends. VeraX blew the market wide open, took over, and 10 years later, a dying Kodak was marketing their new film to be like VeraX. I worked for Bill Kittner, and later he and Lonnie sold to the Japanese, and it became a $1 billion company. It seems Kodak needs a breakthrough. Maybe you and Lisa can help them. And Shondell, warmly, Caroline. Right. That was a flashback moment.
You know that's interesting, because the same thing almost happened to Apple, right?
Yes.
Apple II was doing fantastic, and they almost did not. They fired Steve Jobs and then brought him back, and it's interesting because stories said that that Steve Jobs was let go by Apple, and then his buddy. Why am I going blank? With Microsoft, with
Gates.
Bill Gates.
Yes.
Really loaned him the money.
Yes, he did.
To launch, what we know today as the Mac.
That's right.
So, and I remember having in 1983, I think it was, I had a Macintosh, Apple computer software, the whole bit, just thinking about it, I'm going back, wow, what if they would have said, we did it. We made the desktop computer. Done.
Whole different world. Right? Yeah, whole different world.
Then think about music, and then also think about the challenges even with the music industry. Think about how people wanted to not do live streaming.
Oh, completely changed everything. Well, even your flashback with Jobs. Mm-hmm. Jobs was an acre of diamond right there in the backyard of Apple.
Right.
That got kicked out.
Right.
Well, they pulled the seed back in. Thank goodness for them. It was a great move, which had to be a very difficult move.
Yeah. Oh,
a lot of politics involved in that kind of stuff. Yeah. But they regrouped.
Politics.
They pulled back in that acre of diamond. Absolutely. He was the diamond.
Yeah.
So I got a couple more key points I wanted to drop in on is about the acres of diamond points. Check this out. Warren Buffett, the great investor, decided. I know, isn't that cool?
My favorite.
Yeah, the greatest investor. Decided against moving his family to Wall Street. He stayed in Omaha, Nebraska, and made his billions there. He could have moved to Wall Street once he got to its prowess. No, he did it right there where he was. Henry Ford started designing and building his car on his own farm, built the famous Ford production. He built that line of factories in the same area where he had grown up in Dearborn, Michigan. Yeah. So he did it right there where he was. I thought those were really key points about acres of diamonds.
And I think people, sit back and don't really realize how hard Henry Ford had to work.
Oh my goodness!
He had to fight legislation.
Oh,
he had to fight powerful people. I thought
absolutely.
It wasn't just. He came with this idea and poof, he patented it and boom, he was gone. It was challenging.
Yeah, no, it was way challenging. I totally agree with you. Yeah. Another key point, the problem with most people, Conwell says, is that their wealth is too near.
Yeah.
It's too close and they don't realize it. Yeah. You can't succeed if you have no interest in people and their needs. And that's what you're talking about, caring.
Right.
In Conwell's words, you must make yourself necessary to the world, and that's caring again. What all great people have in common is that they make themselves a medium for good. They make the best goods and provide them to the largest number. Service is the key to success. Don't just sell things. Find out what people really want.
Right.
This requires greater than normal thought of observation, just like you just said. Henry Ford had to think about what do people really want versus what's available.
Right.
So when you think about the acres of diamonds in your own backyard, what are some of the acres of diamonds in the backyard of Shondell?
Wow, that's great. That's a great question. I think the acres of diamond in the backyard of Shondell is obviously my daughter.
Okay.
Right. You always look. Most people look outward and look for people to help them with the business outside of their business, and don't look close right there. Right. Born and raised here, track star, went into the military, kind of followed the same path.
Sure.
So that diamond came back home and came back to help the family business.
Good.
So that's good. I think the diamond is also Las Vegas. I had no idea, or Southern Nevada, or the state of Nevada for that matter. I had no idea that Nevada would be so intricate.
Sure.
In my discoveries from north to south. And the reason I say that, Jess, is because when I first got here, I didn't spend a whole lot of time at Nellis. I spent most of my time in Tonopah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I know it very well since I grew up in Hawthorne.
Yeah, right.
So you can't get to Hawthorne in Nevada without going through Tonopah.
Yeah, so Tonopah was, Brooklyn to Tonopah, sometimes the Indian Springs, Talitha Peak. It was all of these parts of Nevada, and now I that's why I celebrate like Nevada. I took a tour of not only Carson City but northern up on top of the mountain where Bonanza. What's that? Virginia City.
Sure.
I've gone throughout the state and I love the state. My wife and I go once a month to Laughlin.
Okay.
and that's our kind of retreat.
Sure.
Since 2000.
Kind of just decompress.
Once a month is boom. Yeah, decompress. We've been all over. Like, we live in Henderson. Our office is in Las Vegas. We come hang out with you and
sure.
your offices. Way out in the Summerlin area.
Sure.
So, look, at the end of the day, Nevada was my diamond when I thought Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn was. It still is. However, it's still a jewel for you, but you got more jewels. You got diamonds here. And I did not know this diamond existed. I had no idea that I would have this type of success, this type of freedom in Nevada.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. That's a good one. When I think about the diamonds I have, there's so many. There's not enough time to list them all because I like to look at things from a very positive, proactive space.
Right.
Even if it's a negative or challenging situation.
Right.
Again, we grab the lesson out of it, throw away the loss, keep just the lesson. So that's still an advantage. But when I think of the acres of diamond that I have acres of diamonds right here in my own home. Right here, not just in my backyard, but in my own home. Lisa Farrell is a major, major diamond.
Right.
Because of who she is and how she is and how she serves and how she works and how she cares, back to your care program, and her intelligence and her connections and ability to make connections with others, and just really, really just an amazing one. And Lisa brought another Lisa into our game, who's another diamond of ours. So between Lisa Farrell and Lisa Olshafer, the three of us, we've created what we believe and know. We know this is a product that's going to serve many, but it's for specific people that want to succeed and break through success.
Right.
And these women are angels.
Yeah.
They're not just diamonds. They're diamonds and they're angels.
Right.
I call them my angels. Like I feel like I'm Charlie.
Okay,
like
Charlie.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
You can call me Charlie. It's all good.
Hello,
because
ladies.
I do have
Hey, angels.
You got that so good. Yeah, you got it right now. So you got a little Bosley going on there too. But the intelligence that and creativity and care and diligence that both Lisa Farrell and Lisa Olshafer have and what they brought, they're letting me help leverage to get to a much better place instead of me feeling like I have to do it all.
Right.
I don't have to do it all.
Right.
We all have some common ground and some overlapping talent and skills, but each of them have their own individual levels of expertise and areas that I do not.
Amazing.
So now we've combined those three things and we are re-revolutionizing who Just Talk Speaking and Coaching Services is, who Lisa Listen is, and how she serves empowering women. We now have created a product, an online course that we'll talk to at another time, a Breakthrough Success course, that's going to elevate us, and not just us, and the people that get to touch it and use that in a way that's best for them, not best for us.
Yeah, no, and it's amazing, dude. Is these diamonds? I love this. I love this topic, and thank you for you and Lisa really looking into this, because acres and diamonds in your own backyard, man, is for 23 years next month is Arlene and I have been married.
Congratulations.
Native Nevadan.
Nice.
Las Vegas.
Wow.
And I didn't think of that either. I didn't think that, I'm coming to Nevada, because when I came to Nevada, I had a wife. Right. Didn't think I was coming to find a wife.
Right.
And ultimately found a wife and found a life partner. And it's amazing, man. It's like, I can't even describe how many jewels and nuggets that I got from being here.
Pages. They're pages.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, the only reason why you can't describe it because there's not enough time.
No, right. It's just not.
If we just talked about that, you would probably bore the folks because you could go on and on and on. But because you look at things from that perspective. So when we brought this up as a great episode to focus on acres of diamonds in your own backyards, that hit home with you right away.
Man,
you didn't even really, whether you knew about Russell Conwell or not, you knew that you had acres of diamond in your own backyard because you see things that way. You live that way. And I think that's another reason why you continue to be successful is because you're not just relying on yourself. You're also looking at how what you do serves others and how you can be of service of others.
Philippians 2, 3, and 4, right? Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. put others above yourself.
Which is spot on with the how you lead and feeling concept.
Yes, sir.
It's right there.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to close this broadcast. This has been
amazing.
Really, really good. I love this. I'm so glad to connect with you on this. And I truly want people out there to listen to this and share this and do something with this and get on our Facebook and tell us your thoughts about this.
Can I tell people about a diamond in the backyard real quick?
Sure.
The Urban Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
I was brought to the Urban Chamber of Commerce 6 years ago to help entrepreneurs help them grow. As you know, I'm doing a 15-week course. You'll be a guest speaker next week. I'm so blessed to have you.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Next Wednesday morning, which is a long day for me, 7:30 a.m., me and the SBA, I am hosting a workshop. It's building foundations. It's marketing solutions. At 7:30 a.m. at the Urban Chamber, I will be teaching people how to discover their market and how to get above and beyond their competition. I just hope that people understand how much of a diamond it is to have this institution, Urban Chamber of Commerce, right in the community.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Right.
Amazing resource, right? And I didn't know it until we really rubbed off the dirt.
Peel back some of the layers.
Yeah. Look at this diamond. Look at it shine.
Awesome.
And they can schedule on Eventbrite. So I just wanted to make sure people understand what's going on.
No, I appreciate that. How can people get in touch with you too? How can they find Some New Marketing?
You can get me at somenewmarketing.com. You could go to my personal Facebook as Shondell Newsom, or you can go to Some New Marketing. Also, the Some New Solutions Zone, where I'm a mentor to many. The Some New Solutions Zone allows me to mentor people around the world 24 hours a day.
Nice. Very good. Well, they can find us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, iTunes, and Spotify. They can also find our podcast on Spotify and iTunes as well. So that's really, really cool. And a few other places as well. Yeah. This is always the 5-minute hour. It always goes by so fast. It really does. Yeah. And I truly hope people will continue to value and share and weigh in like this, because we've got some wonderful people that are weighing in. We'll get back to the Facebook people and in the network and answer any.
Hit them up.
Yeah.
And look, if you have questions, go ahead and get it to us. It's if you're on right now with us Facebook Live, go ahead and get the questions in. I promise you that we will answer those questions, as well as we'll dialogue.
And those of you that are listening here, thanks for tuning in. What is it all about?
How you leave them feeling.